From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up! Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One more Corner Pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hutchavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What's up, everybody? It is Wake Up Warchant. It is presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill in Tallahassee, Florida. Coming up on today's show, Renegade Express. Corey's back, y'all. Make some noise. And the ACC RIP? Question mark? Our show, as always, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. They're in Tallahassee, Florida. They have a website at cptallybar.com. Check that out. Put your order online, and as I said, go inside, pick it up right at the bar, and then kind of realize, you know what, this place has got some magic to it. I don't think I'm going to leave. And you'll see for yourself just how awesome it is. How was the Midwest, Corey Clark?
It was good. It was a long trip. We are currently, as we record this, I'm driving almost by Louisville. I'm on the way back. A little long drive. We've already been on the road for 5 hours, and we still got 6 hours to go. Okay. So that's paid, but that was my choice, wasn't it? That was my choice. But yeah, we had a good time. We went to the top of the Hancock Tower. Brady and I did. Stephanie and Brady and I went to Wrigley. Went to White Sox game too. Had really good meals. Just good stuff, man. It was a good trip.
Okay, good. Are you a South Sider, or are you all about the Cubbies?
No, we definitely enjoyed the North Side more. Okay. That's a cool vibe, man. We got down there at like 5 o'clock to Wrigleyville. Brady went to one of the sports bars there that has a batting cage. Hung out there for a while. Went into the park early. Man, that's a really cool neighborhood. I didn't realize. I'd never been there. I didn't realize how neighborhoody it was.
Yeah.
But it is like a real neighborhood down there. It's pretty awesome.
Some news that happened while we were away was, I guess, first off, the 3-5-5 model. Corey, the ACC is going to go ahead and dissolve divisions beginning in 2023, if I'm not mistaken. 3-5-5 model is you play 3 teams permanently, and then you have this revolving door of 5 the following 2 seasons. So Florida State's permanent opponents, so they'll always play Clemson, they'll always play Miami, and not Georgia Tech, not Virginia Tech, the third one, but Syracuse will be the permanent opponent. I think that was pretty much our fear, would be them or another Northeastern team. Your thoughts on that development?
Well, I mean, look, I don't think it was done with Florida State fans in mind, honestly, like not current ones anyway, because you certainly would want your current ones to be able to go watch them closer to home every other year. You'd be in Atlanta, which is a very, very big Florida State fan base. Maybe it's more to expand, but more than that, man, it's not great. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but you did get Miami and Clemson, which isn't the easiest schedule to get. But what's been so bad for Florida State fans is they haven't been to Atlanta to see a game. They've seen one game in the last 13 years in that stadium, and that was the unfortunate Roberto Aguayo block kick run back for a touchdown. I think we all remember that one. I don't need to bring that up. Yeah. But that's my issue with it. Actually, 14 years. They've played once in that stadium, in that stadium, in 14 years. That's crazy to be in a conference with somebody and you go there every decade and a half. So now that has been eliminated, and they get to go to at least every 4 years, and they get to play them every other year. So that to me is at least it's better than what the alternative was, because the alternative was awful. And I say that obviously I'm a little bit biased because I live half the time in Atlanta and I'm from Atlanta. But yeah, man, there's a lot of Florida State fans there that those games are really cool. And it's crazy that they've had 2. They had one in 2008. We all remember, man, those games in Georgia Tech end painfully, don't they? You had the fumble into the end zone with Marcus Sims in 2008. And then you had the block kick return for a touchdown, the final play of the game. So those are the last 2 games in the last 14 years in that place.
All right, then moving on to the news that dropped on Thursday. Really big news.
I didn't ask you, though, Aslan. Are you excited about the trips to Syracuse every other year? You got to be.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm stoked. Great bar scene up there. Maybe one of these years they'll let me go there with Ira. We'll rip it up. It'll be fantastic.
Right, man. Good. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's move on to the big news that dropped on Thursday. It was reported by John Wilner of, golly, he's got so many bylines. I think the Mercury, the San Jose Mercury News, if I got it wrong, I apologize, John Wilner, but he's Mr. Pac-12. He's dialed in. The news that Southern Cal and UCLA plan to depart the Pac-12 at some point here, I guess in the near future, to go to the Big Ten, the natural fit that is the Big Ten. I mean, good for them. Listen, it's apparent there's going to probably be 2 really cushy lifeboats or cruise ships that you can hang on to if you're a college football fan. And then everybody else, who knows what's going to happen to us. I guess the silver lining is that later on in the afternoon, Wilner tweeted also out, don't assume the Big Ten is done. We can only hope the Alliance maybe lives on and they throw us a bone, because I don't know how the ACC survives. I don't know if I want the ACC to survive. I don't know. You get Oregon and Washington, that'd be cool. But, I mean, still, I would rather be able to leave. I want to leave. There's nothing you can do to make me want to stay. I want to be able to leave now. I want to leave now, Corey. I'm very anxious. What about you?
I would say, yeah, I'm sure there's anxiety all around Florida State fans. Like, again, I would say that I think, again, if we're using the ship analogy, Florida State, Clemson, and Miami are probably all getting thrown lifeboats, right? I guess you don't throw a lifeboat.
Life preserver.
What do? You launch
a
lifeboat. You throw
it.
You throw a preserver. Florida State, Miami, and Clemson would all get them. I think that might be it. Maybe Carolina, maybe NC State, but I feel like that would probably be it for the Power 5 schools. But more than anything, like, I was thinking about this as soon as I saw that. I'm like, yeah, that's tough. Like, if UCLA and USC are going to the Big Ten, you can't tell me. I know where they're from. I know what city they're from. But you can't tell me that UCLA is going to give you more viewers and it's going to make your TV ratings better than Florida State and Clemson. I mean, when I say more viewers, I know their market is bigger, obviously, than Greenville and Tallahassee. But you can't tell me that more people watch UCLA football than Florida State and Clemson football. So they have a product, Miami too, for that matter. They have a product to sell that UCLA doesn't. So when you think about that, you're like,
but maybe more people watch UCLA football, baseball, and basketball combined than Miami football, baseball, basketball, maybe in Florida State.
I mean, nobody's watching UCLA baseball. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Basketball maybe, but yeah, man.
Not enough to offset the football gap, which is the big gap.
Yeah. That football, and that's all that anybody cares about. So getting USC is huge. I'm sure they were married together. Like, if you're going to take us, you need to take UCLA. Probably a lot like how Texas and Oklahoma was for the SEC. But when I started thinking about that, I'm like, yeah, well, of course UCLA and USC can do it. They don't have a grant of rights that runs until 2100 or 2096 or whenever the ACC's is up. When is that? 2038, by the way, 2036?
2036.
That grant of rights is
yeah,
up.
36.
So that makes them a lot more poachable than Florida State and Clemson are. But I would say this, and this was the thought I had, is, what if, because say the Florida State, say the SEC sees this, and to counter their next move is Florida State and Clemson. That's their queen to rook 4, whatever you're doing on the chessboard.
Nice.
That sounded like I know what I'm talking about, right?
Crushed it.
Queen's Gambit, by the way, guys. I know it's been out for a while now. Great show. Go watch it if you can. What if Florida State was like, look, we will cut you, because they're going to get the new SEC deal. Each school is going to be getting about $100 million, right, annually, $90 or $100 million. What if, to help pay the grant of rights, Florida State was like, you know what? Just make ours like 77. Make ours 83 million. If everybody else is getting 100, make ours 83 or 84 million until we have to pay off our grant of rights. So, and the point being, yes, you're $15 million behind these other schools like Vanderbilt or Ole Miss, but 84 million is a lot more than 40 or 50. And the other set, and then you can pay the grant of rights off quicker. Whatever you have to do, man. What happened on Thursday was really kind of like, I don't know, man. Startling isn't the right word, but just kind of clarifying. Like, oh, this is all happening. You know what I mean? It's all happening. There's going to be super conferences, and Florida State has to make sure they're in them. And even if that means telling the suitor, the Big Ten or the SEC, look, we will work with you. We have this grant of rights that we have to pay, and they're going to collect. But let's work out something where a portion of our proceeds each year, we'll still be making twice as much or almost twice as much as what we were going to make in the ACC. Let's trim that down by $10 million a year or $12 million a year, whatever it is, $15 million a year to pay this off over the next 10 or 15 years. Because it's not like they're expecting a lump sum.
Right.
So anyway, I just think that what it means, I think it's bad news for the ACC. The only play they have, the only chance they have, in my opinion, is Notre Dame. Notre Dame changes everything if you can get Notre Dame to join the ACC. Then all of a sudden it becomes 3 power conferences, legitimately. But you can't do that unless ESPN is willing to tear up their contract and start over, which they very well might. They might renegotiate, and it might be a lot more money. We'll see. But right now, I can understand when you're seeing UCLA getting in the Big Ten and Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC, and yet you're here making $30, $40, $50, $80 million a year less than these other schools. You're not on the same playing field. And Michael Alford knows that, and Florida State has to figure out a way to get on that playing field.
Yeah, man, I don't even think Notre Dame salvages it for me right now. Like, I want out, man. I just, I want off the ride.
Well, what if ESPN was like, "Hey, we're going to give you a deal that's commensurate with what we do the SEC and the Big Ten."
I mean, the money's awesome, but I want to play good football games, man. I don't want to play Wake Forest anymore. I don't want to play Duke. I don't want to play Syracuse. I don't want to play Boston College. I'd rather play Arkansas. I'm sorry, I rather would. You all would too. You can deny it as much as you want. You'd rather play Ole Miss. And here's even a scarier thing, Corey, as we're talking about this. Again, John Wilner is the guy who broke all this news. He tweets this in the middle of our show. If I'm the Big Ten and I want to get to 18, which I guess 18 is your magic number now if you want to have a super conference or whatever, the short list would be Washington, Oregon, North Carolina, Duke, and Missouri. So I don't know, maybe that sounds even more anxiety-riddled for me. But if they take Missouri, maybe that opens up a seat for us in the SEC. It's just that feels lousy, man. This is not like I don't know if it's like The Bachelor, like we want a rose, and man, you're going to hand out a rose to Missouri and Duke and Oregon over us?
Look, Wilner is, for the people that don't know, Wilner is pretty dialed in. I don't know if this is speculation or something that he's talked about, because he had it before anybody else. So he might have talked to the powers that be in the Pac-12 or the Big Ten, I guess, is more accurately, and heard that, like, this is our next move, is we want this, and this to happen. But there's no way you would want North Carolina over Florida State and Clemson. There just isn't. I know maybe Clemson doesn't fit like the academic footprint of the Big Ten, but Florida State does.
Yeah.
Florida State's right up there with North Carolina, honestly, now, in public universities, in the rankings and the U.S. and all that stuff, U.S. News and World Report. So I think he must have made, if that's not speculation, just crazy off-the-wall speculation, it must be something that has been talked about, which leads me to believe that maybe the Big Ten already knows that, yes, the SEC would go after these other schools. So we're going to get to 18, they're going to get to 18, or we're going to get to 20, they're going to get to 20. Here, we won't make a run at Florida State and Clemson because it makes more sense for them to be in the SEC. But, yeah, man, if this is the first domino to fall that gets us to 2 huge power conferences and then we're done with it, fine, I guess. I mean, it's kind of a sad day for us that grew up with this sport. Not a sad day. It's been a sad couple of decades, sad year at least. Once the Oklahoma and Texas thing happened, it's like, okay, we all saw the writing on the wall. But yeah, it's just, it's what we've enjoyed for the last 4 decades just isn't a thing anymore. So hop onto one of these big giant tankers, because there will be a raft for you. There just has to be. I just couldn't imagine a scenario where Florida State isn't a viable option. Like, you'd rather have Missouri than Florida State. In what world?
I don't know.
What has Missouri ever done for anyone?
Nothing.
They had to compromise back. Didn't they have that great compromise before the Civil War? They weren't pro-slavery or anti-slavery. They're just kind of right there in the middle. I can't remember my history on that well.
Oh, man. Yeah, so we'll see how this all shakes out again. I'll keep an eye on his Twitter feed throughout our show. But, yeah, Again, I remember talking about this in my other group chat with my buddy who was in Miami and one that went to Texas. And I'm like, man, are we going to be talking about Sun Belt Conference in 3 years? He's like, and my text buddy's like, you guys will be fine. He's like, the Canes and Noles, you guys will be good. But again, I guess maybe this is what we're going to, 2 18-team conferences. And I don't know, do I want a 12-team playoff with 36 teams? That feels kind of watered down. I don't know, man. I understand the reality of things. But, it was cool when Boise State would play spoiler. It was cool when Kansas State, knocked around Oklahoma and throws the picture off sometimes. I I get it. These teams don't win the national title, but, upsets happen in college football, and these matchups were kind of fun to watch sometimes. But now it seems like we're really doubling down, and I don't know, maybe it'll be cool to play Miami and Florida twice a year or something, maybe have home and homes every single season. So better than Syracuse, Aslan. Make up your mind. So, all right, with that said, let's go to the Renegade Express. Probably might parse down your folks' questions. I know you put a lot of time and effort into composing very witty questions, but our guys on the road, and, we're just going to try to make it through here. Let's go
I'll be honest, I didn't realize Louisville had this kind of traffic. This isn't I'm rolling through right at 4:40 local time. I was hoping I'd fly through a little quicker than this. This is a little off-putting. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry,
all right, we can take our time then. Corey's got nowhere to go.
Absolutely not.
Let's go to Mark in Naples. M. Adam CZ. Wake up. Corey, hope you enjoyed Chicago. He's going to Chicago with his wife to see Lady Gaga at Wrigley for her 40th. Anything you want to recommend to them?
Bavetti's.
Okay.
In fact, I went on Twitter because this is who I am. I went on Twitter and just asked for recommendations, and I got, as you imagine, a lot of them. But I think our favorite one, the Science and Architecture Museum was cool. The aquarium was really cool. The architecture tour on the boats is awesome. And try to do it closer to the end because you get the sun setting. But that was probably our favorite thing was the architecture boat tour. Just on the river, it's awesome, man. It's really cool. And then Bavetti's, a restaurant we went to, which was one of the best meals of my life. Nice. So anyway, there you go. There's some recommendations for you, Mark.
All right, on the 355, he's like, it sucks for us in TV coverage. We knew we'd get Clemson, Miami, but Syracuse? Georgia Tech made so much more sense. Easy for an FSU fan to get to Atlanta by car or plane. Tons of alums in the area. And it would be a nice tradition to start. We could tailgate at the Clark Manor, then have a nice little drive to downtown Atlanta for the game. Amen.
50 minutes. Just 50 minutes.
All right, but I guess what makes for the ACC, they do opposite. Ira had some good insight on headlines this week, and I guess it's advantageous to play Syracuse every year in terms of having a very beatable ACC opponent. Interested on your take? Yeah, I guess that's a good silver lining,
Yeah, I mean, look, Syracuse hasn't been, nationally relevant since Donovan McNabb, and before that it was Jim Brown. It's been a minute. So you don't expect them all of a sudden.
Marvin Graves and the Cuse were a little bit intimidating in the 90s, Big East days, Miami.
Who did was Marvin Harrison? Was he Donovan? Did he play with McNabb? I forget, or was he before McNabb?
I think he was before McNabb, but I'll look it up.
I do too. Yeah, but so yeah, I get that. But that Syracuse has proven what it is over the last, really since Jim Brown. They've proven what they are. They're just kind of a mediocre football program. They had a lot of great players there early. They've had a few sprinkled in here late. Dwight Freeney, Don McNabb, Marvin Harrison, people like that. But overall, not a very good football program. Georgia Tech's had some moments. They won a national championship. Well, it was 32 years ago now, and it was a kind of a BS one, but still they won it. And but they've been to a couple Orange Bowls. They've done, and they're in Atlanta. So you think maybe if they get the right coach, maybe there's a chance they become something. But I mean, honestly, Georgia Tech's pretty beatable too. I would say Georgia Tech and Syracuse have been about the same program for the last 20 to 25 years. So yeah, I don't know that. I mean, sure, it's a more beatable team, I guess, but really, is it that much more beatable? They're very similar, and yes, Georgia Tech is much closer. I'm driving right by the house that Lamar Jackson built right now.
There we go. Harrison actually played with both. I think his freshman year was Graves, and then his final season was Donovan McNabb. I don't know who was in the middle of all that, though. Syracuse.
Nobody worth remembering.
Yeah. Touche, Corey, touche. All right. Yeah, that's the silver lining, I guess. It'd be nice to have a somewhat of a gimme. But, hey, man, we haven't exactly taken easy care of Syracuse the last few times. I mean, in 17 we squeaked by. 18 they housed us. 19 we took care of them. We didn't play them in 20. Last year, Ryan Fitzgerald had to lay his golden boot on the line. But I don't know, man. I'll trust. I have trust in Michael Alford, man. I will say that. I mean, I know a lot of people trust in Mike Norvell. That's cool. I trust in Mike Alford right now more than anybody in Florida State. So that'll carry.
But you also don't want to be. You don't want to be playing Syracuse in 2027, do you?
No. I want to be playing. Yeah. I want to be playing A&M and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
That's who I want.
I got you. I'm with you.
Oh, which real quick, by the way, did you see that? You saw I'm sure you hopefully opened the tweet that Ira texted us with the coach caught on camera at A&M saying, hey, the amount of money you'll get from these people in these suites as he was giving a tour of the stadium to a recruit.
Right.
I'm not too bothered by it. Should I be bothered by it?
No, I mean, it was the whole thing about Jimbo's sanctimony about the whole Saban blow up. It's like, man, we all know the deal. Like it's not even like a secret. Like it's not even when they're on campus and they're going for a visit. Why? That's the time to tell them. Yeah. Why would anybody be bothered about it? I would assume, I'd hope, Norvell and his staff are pointing to the suites and Doak and saying similar things.
Okay.
Like that, we'll take care of you. If you sign, we'll take care of you. All but right. Yeah, it's just because Jimbo was so bothered by it. And so sanctimonious about it, and then it turns. I mean, everybody knows, but it is what it is. It's fine. Did you see that Feinbaum? I don't know if it was a joke or a real tweet that he's writing a book on Saban and Jimbo.
Yes, it's a real thing. Yeah, and it's going to be optionally. Apparently, Hollywood has interest in it. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go. Who's going to play Jimbo?
Oh, John Voight, maybe.
There you go.
Yo, you hear that? That's the sound of the hottest new club, the Zaxby's Signature Club Sandwich. It's everything you love about our original sandwich, but, clubbier. Hand-breaded chicken, bacon, and cheese, and your choice of Zax sauce or spicy Zax sauce. Try one today with fries and a drink. Only at Zaxby's. Can we turn it down now?
And don't forget to listen in for the Zaxby's indescribably good Player of the Week every Monday on Wake Up Warchant.
JT Knowles, 2K2. Hey, Aslan and Corey, wake up. Now, most of these questions, I put the thread on Wednesday, so 355 was the topic du jour. I'm sure most people want us to talk more about the Big Ten, Pac-12 stuff, but we got to listen to the people. He's keeping on the Syracuse tip. There's been some great Syracuse moments in the past. Which is the best, excluding the Fula from Pascagoula?
Oh, so we can't use that one.
Yeah, best one, yeah.
Man, I don't know.
Was that the Mario Pender game? Beautiful. Mario Pender, we thought, right? Didn't Pender go off in 14?
And then he got hurt right at the end of that game, and they brought in Dalvin. It was like, well, pretty good too. Yeah, that was Pender that played up there because Carlos Williams was hurt. And I guess they didn't think Dalvin was ready.
Not those bright lights. Not those bright lights, Corey.
Kermit have a long touchdown. Yeah, I'm going to say I would say Kermit taking the tall sweep, and then Jameis being the lead blocker like 50 yards downfield.
Okay,
that was a really good Syracuse moment too.
All right, he likes Fitzgerald's game winner. Oh yeah, he likes Fitzgerald's game winner or the Travis Rudolph game in 15, which he had like 6 catches for 200 yards, something crazy like that. The Smag game, Smag taking over from Everett Golson and lighting him up. I like those. I think Leon might have had a good game in 04 on like a Thursday or Friday night in the Carrier Dome. I think Wyatt Sexton was our quarterback.
Yeah, and it was 17-14 was the final. That was a bad Syracuse team too, but that was yeah. Leon had a big game, and they won that one at the end. Yeah. Barely hung on.
All right. All right. So, and he's revisiting the question about would we hire Link Jarrett first? Would the Lightning win the Stanley Cup, or would the Braves streak end first? Yeah, the Braves, right? The Braves, I think, lost first. Not too long after that.
They did, yeah. Yeah, it was like 2 days, I think, 2 or 3 days. Yeah, they lost on a Friday. Link was officially hired on the. Well, no, weren't they the same day?
I don't know.
It might have been the same day, Aslan. Might have been the same day.
Hey, real quick, I'm sorry to keep detouring this. What are your thoughts on Freddie Freeman firing his agent and maybe, I guess, having remorse now? Do you feel a little bit vindicated in a certain way that you might not want to admit outwardly?
Vindicated how?
Hey, like you shouldn't have left. Like, why would you leave? Shouldn't have left us. We loved you. You were the face of the franchise.
Look, man, here's what I know, and I get business, and I get what I guess he was trying to do. Chipper never let it get to that point. You know, Chipper, and you don't have to take less money, but you can make it very clear to the people like Sherholtz, like Chipper did, I want to be a Brave. Give me my competitive offer, what you know I'm worth, and I want to be a Brave. Freddie clearly did not do that. When you put it all in your agent's hands and don't tell him, don't give him an edict. Like, if I'm not a Brave, you're not my agent. I want you to give me the very best deal because I'm a human being and I like money. We all like money. But at the end of the day, if I go anywhere else, you're not my agent anymore. I'm firing you. It can give an edict because he works for Freddie Freeman. It's not the other way around. So that's what, I don't know, man. It's like, okay, great. You got all these tiers, which is, I get it. Like, he's cried multiple times about not being a Brave anymore. It's like, buddy, you control the whole thing.
Look at that.
Now go enjoy that smog.
Yeah. Unsympathetic. All right, next one. Random_John. Good morning, Azon and Corey. All right. Growing up, favorite summer break childhood memory from your teen years or college, post-college. Give me your favorite summertime memory since we are in the dum-dums of summer, as Random_John says here in his post.
What do you got, Aslan? You got one that comes to mind?
No, I mean, we had some good family vacations up to Niagara Falls. We were like the Clarks. We drove. We were a driving people, a driving tribe. We didn't fly. And then, I don't know. I think I went to Iran one summer, but I got sick for like half of that trip, so not the best time. I love summer in Tallahassee, though. As a student, I think it was underrated. It was just so much more laid back. You're only taking 1 or 2 classes at most. Po' boys, drinking, day drinking, fried pickles on the patio, tried delts over here, KDs over there. Good times. Yeah, college summer break. It's don't go home for summer break. Maybe your freshman year, like when the whole band gets back together and everybody goes back home. But year 2, 3, 4, stick around your college town. Summer in a college town, I think, is where it's at.
So your answer is your favorite break was staying back in Tallahassee.
Yeah, man, pretty much.
All right,
yeah.
All right. I like it. I was lucky enough that my dad organized a rafting trip down the Colorado River, which was basically the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
So the week before my freshman, so I guess like right at Brady's age right now, we were leaving for Arizona. That's where the Grand Canyon is, right?
Yeah.
We were leaving for Arizona to go rafting down the Grand Canyon for a week. And I think I've told this story before on one of my many platforms, but I was really not looking forward to go. I did not want to go. I'm not an outdoorsy kid. It just seemed like, man, we're going to be out in the 110-degree heat. I don't like rivers. I don't like rapids. This doesn't sound fun at all. And it was honestly the best trip we ever took. It was just awesome. There were like 20 of us in the group. It was just me and him, but there were 20 other people in our little traveling party. And all the guides were like 21. I was 14. It was just a perfect time. And little known fact about it, Aslan, is the water in the Colorado River is so cold that you can't be in it for longer than 10 or 15 minutes, or you risk getting hypothermia.
Really? I figured it'd be like bath water.
That's the problem. So I was thinking, okay, it's 120 degrees, but if I fall in these rapids, who cares? It'll feel great.
Yeah.
But no, it was so cold that like even when we're rafting, I look like the Morton Salt guy. I'm completely wrapped from head to toe in rain gear because the water's so cold. I don't want it to get on my skin. So actually, I'm the only person there that didn't get a tan during the Grand Canyon. But that was a lot of fun. That was my favorite trip. Right. So guys, if you can figure that out, go do it. It's awesome.
Okay, let's go to South Florida by way of Brooklyn. I think Grumpy BK. I'm assuming the BK is for Brooklyn all these years later. Wake up, gents. 2 topics. With improved offensive line and wide receiver units, do you expect the staff to modify their game plans for Travis? Will they limit the run scramble game to improve his odds of staying on the field for the full season?
So when we look back at,
go ahead.
I just was gonna say, like, when I think about his injuries, I don't know how many of them were him running.
Right.
I feel like the one I remember obviously more than any other because it just was not a heady play by a smart kid, but who's got to learn to play quarterback a little better, was the shot he took on the Hail Mary at the end of the first half against Wake Forest.
Right.
He couldn't play after that. And that was in the pocket. That was not him running. And I can't remember what happened in Florida. Was that a run or was that him getting blindsided? I can't remember exactly what happened there. Yeah. But he got hurt and knocked out of that game too.
Yeah. Well, then Notre Dame, when his helmet came off, that was him running. And apparently they said he couldn't go back.
Yeah, but that wasn't an injury.
Well, they said he couldn't go back in the game, and then they didn't start him the next weekend either. Or they split the time with him and McKenzie against Jacksonville State. Yeah, I don't. I think the offense will be what it is. I don't expect them to make changes with the improved offensive line, the wide receivers. I think they'll trust him to take what's there and run when he can. But I think ultimately, they probably want him to be a little bit more committed to, hey, man, we've given you a really good offensive line. Well, not really, but we've given you a good offensive line. We've given you some tantalizing targets to throw at. Trust the process, hashtag. If you want to be an NFL player, Jordan Travis, you're going to have to, go out there and probably complete 68% of your passes and put up some big numbers in the pocket. So, but at the same time, keep the chains moving. I'm rambling here. I don't think they're going to deviate from what they've been. Corey, do you?
Not really. I think that I think they would deviate if he proves he will hang in the pocket and be a good third down passer. If that happens, then maybe you do deviate some. That hasn't happened yet, so you got to take advantage of the strengths he does have. So that's why I think you're still going to see a lot of zone reads because that's the strength of this offense right now. But if he can prove to be an adept passer, more so than he's been, especially in passing situations, you can change a little bit. You can. I just wonder a lot of guys get hurt in the pocket too. And Jimbo used to always say that. There's no guarantee that running is what Tebow never got hurt. He ran all the time. Like you see what Jimbo's point was. You see who's trying to tackle you when it's a designed quarterback run. When you're in the pocket, you don't see him half the time, and that can be when you can really get hurt. So I don't think you're going to be calling 25 quarterback sweeps ever, but you also don't want to harness him in and say we don't need you scrambling on 2nd and 8 or 3rd and 5. It's like, man, you need as many first downs as you can get. He's just got to be smarter once he gets the first down, I guess. You can tell him to do that, like slide more, but it doesn't seem like his nature. And he's such a good runner. Like, again, I've brought this up a few times last year, but most quarterbacks, when they get a 1-on-1 with a safety, they'll go and they got the first down, they'll slide. I did my job. I got the first down. Jordan Travis can make that dude miss and turn it into a 70-yard run. So asking him to slide is like asking Deshaun Corbin to slide. Yeah. Like, no, he's good at making people miss. That's one of his strengths, his best strength probably. So it's just an odd. It's. I don't know. It's something you can coach out of a guy. Does that make sense? Especially when he's been doing it his whole life because he's just been so much more athletic than most of the guys trying to tackle him.
Yeah, well said. I agree. By the way, hopefully Kevin Warren, commissioner of the Big Ten, is listening to this. Florida State just finished 14th in the Learfield Directors Cup standings, which combines the performance of all your sports programs. This is their 16th straight season in the top 25, 5th consecutive in the top 20. So, but hey, man, Duke, Missouri.
Yeah, who won it? I'm going to guess Stanford.
That's not listed in the press release here. We're focusing on us, We're focusing on the inward.
Okay,
inward.
sorry.
Yeah.
I would guess Stanford won. It's like
probably.
Guessing that Microsoft made a lot of money.
Second part of Grumpy BK's question: do you believe 4th and 14 was the final nail in the coffin for Manny Diaz and his jabronis in Miami, and the ignition switch for them spending big time? If so, are you satisfied with the outcome, or would you rather have lost that game and kept the regime in place? Well, the regime was going to. That would have given them a stay of execution for, a year. I'm a little bit fearful of what Mario can become, but I'll take that win. I don't even know if he would have came back if they would have won that game. He would have been a dead man walking at some point in 2022. He's not going to work in Miami, so you defer him getting kicked out of there for the next coaching cycle, and I guess you hope that Mario ends up somewhere else. Which I don't know. I think Mario always would have came home whenever they came calling. So enjoy the win. Don't worry about what could have been, I say.
Yeah, I do think that I don't know that he survives even if they knock that pass down. But his odds would have been better, right? Like blowing that game and that lead, getting beat essentially by Andrew Parchment. That's a tough pill to swallow for your dream job to come to an end.
Island Chief, wake up. Last week's episode, it seemed obvious you had some intel on Link coming aboard, but you honored your commitment to wait for an official announcement. Kudos. I don't know, man. Don't congratulate us on that. I wish we would have gone ahead and pounded our chest about it, but, I don't make those calls. But yeah, well, the important people at our website knew. But anyhow, tickets.
Hey, I'm important.
Yeah, you as well. Well, Corey and the other important people.
There you go, Aslan.
He had tickets to the Savannah Bananas baseball game, not to be missed if you have the chance. Benson and Pittman. I don't know what that's about. Maybe I think I asked something about maybe who's your favorite. I don't even know. Sorry about that. Carrying on, Aslan. To the question. Dance cards are filling up. It looks like he edited his question. Southern Cal, UCLA announced to the Big Ten. Are we dancing or hanging out in the stag line? We'll dance.
In the what line?
Stag. I guess you came by yourself. That's what they say when you show up.
Oh, okay.
Without a date.
All right. What is it? Is it short for stagnant?
No, I think it's something. I think it might be like the male deer being alone. I don't know.
That makes more sense. Yeah, you're right. Well, we're not animals guys, are we? Yeah. Neither one of us really. That's I would think there's a lot of presidents and a lot of ADs that when they saw that news, things get expedited very quickly, and you just can't. Whether you're a commissioner, which good luck to Phillips, right? Geez.
Yes.
But or you're an AD, you cannot be sitting here not making overtures. You just can't do it. You can't. Florida State, look, it's easy in hindsight now to know that it was a mistake 30-something years ago when they decided to go to the ACC because there probably was a chance to get in the SEC. They chose the ACC. It worked out very, very well for about 12 to 15 years, and then it cratered. You can't make a mistake like this again. So you've got to land somewhere. Yeah, that's right. You can't be in the stag line, as I've always said.
Yeah. Corey, I just wonder if, like, the SEC, I mean, they have to be looking at it as like it's monopoly. Like, I wonder if these conferences are looking at everything like monopoly, where you just want to, like, you want to grab the best properties, or is there going to ever be a certain point where it's, I mean, like, I don't know, like Command and Conquer or Risk or somewhere, you just want to annihilate somebody. Like, I just wonder if maybe, like, the Big Ten might be more receptive to us, whereas the SEC would be like, why bring in Florida State? Like, that, let's just – because if you're Georgia, you might be like, no, we're fine. Like, the weaker Florida State is, the easier we can go into Florida and grab recruits. I'm sure Alabama – I mean, any – Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, A&M to a certain degree – but these programs that come into the state of Florida and pull away recruits, and obviously the University of Florida, maybe they'd be like, we don't have to help them out. We can all profit off of them not being in here, or we can bring them aboard and see if that gives us a few more $1 million in the TV revenue. Whereas, like, the Big Ten might see, okay, we don't see Florida State as a sort of a competitor. They can actually help our brand. They can give us more, reach and increase our footprint. Or the SEC is a more natural fit, absolutely, for sure. But is it maybe something where, like, a Georgia and Florida, Bama, Auburn, are like, well, we don't need to help them. Like, why bring them into our conference? When if they're weak, we can all be stronger, as opposed to them bringing on board with us might not make us more strong than we are now. I don't know. I'm rambling. What do you think? Is that just a crazy conspiracy?
I get it. I get that thinking because if you ask yourself as a Florida State fan, if the roles were reversed and you were a Gator fan, would you want Florida State, who looks like they're splashing in the water, gasping for air, to throw them a lifeboat? Again, I keep saying it. Throw them a life preserver? I mean, I don't think that you would necessarily, unless you're thinking about the betterment of the sport, which nobody does, not in this day and age anyway. So, yeah, I get also the Big Ten. Look, man, they make a ton of money. I get it.
They make more.
Their marquee programs?
They make more.
But who are their marquee programs?
Michigan State and Ohio State.
Right, not Michigan State. Michigan,
Ohio State.
Nobody watches Michigan State. Nobody watches Indiana or Northwestern or Minnesota or Rutgers. Nebraska's a big name, but Nebraska hasn't been relevant in 2 decades. They haven't brought anything.
Wisconsin's all right.
You got Wisconsin. Yeah, Wisconsin's pretty good. Never really won anything, but, yeah, they're a big enough name. So Florida State in the SEC, while everybody would jump at it in a heartbeat, and it would be so much more fun on Saturdays to go to those locales than, say, Boston, Syracuse, or Pitt. But the SEC already has all that. The Florida State wouldn't add a ton to the SEC. Florida State would add a boatload to the Big Ten. They would have 3 national championships, number one, which not many else in that conference can claim. Not since the color TV was around anyway. And I don't know, was the Big Ten, they've won 1 in the last 25 years. Is that right? 1 national championship in 25 years? Something like that. Something crazy like that.
Yeah, Urban, that's it. Urban in Ohio State.
So if Florida State, I mean, look, I know as a Florida State fan, you'd much rather be in the SEC. And trust me, as a guy that covers them for a living, I would want that too, because I don't know that I can drive to Ann Arbor. I guess I can. I just drove to Chicago. I guess I can do it.
Lincoln, brother. You have to drive to Lincoln, brother.
Yeah, and Rutgers, and apparently California. But yeah, I think that the Florida State and the Big Ten makes a lot more sense for the Big Ten because it's a marquee name. It's a powerful name. It is a school that will, and also all those schools now can, when they're recruiting the state of Florida, because everybody does, they can point to, hey man, we'll still be kind of close to your home. We get to play 2 times. You get to see your family will get to see you once or twice every 4 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like something like that.
Yeah.
So I think that would mind too. I think that would matter a little bit, but I just think the Big Ten needs the Big Ten would be so buoyed by Florida State and Clemson and Miami. The SEC already has a bunch of football schools that have won championships. The Big Ten does not in recent memory anyway. And I think Florida State, Miami, and Clemson would add a lot to that. So, but yeah, I mean, the SEC is the better fit for Florida State fans. But is it the better fit for the league? I don't know. But they need to find one of them. They need to find a fit because I don't know what the ACC is going to do.
I mean, I don't want to ask questions I don't know the answers to and rhetorical stuff, but just if you're Jim Phillips, how can you call Michael Alford or President McCullough and put a brave face on? There's nothing redeeming about staying in this conference. Who is he responsible to? If you're Roger Goodell, you're responsible to those 32 owners. Man, if you're Jim Phillips, how could you look at President McCullough and be like, yeah, man, it'll be all right, man. Just trust the process. We'll get Notre Dame. That'll change everything. I wonder, if Ohio State and Michigan State Big Ten comes calling, Greg Sankey and Nick Saban are like, yeah, you guys can come hang out in our yacht. How can you be like, no, it's not the right move for you guys? But I guess maybe the contracts are going to hold all this stuff up. Good job,
no,
Corey.
And I think that's why. No, but nobody's really blaming USC and UCLA, right?
No.
Why you can't? You're going from a conference that was an afterthought. I mean, literally, there are so many games that are on the Pac-12 network that I've never seen because I don't get it, and a lot of people don't get it. And it was just you think the ACC was behind the times? The Pac-12 was the ACC lapped the Pac-12. So yeah, I get you went from the worst of the Power 5 conferences to the most money. So yeah, nobody's blaming them. Just like I don't think anybody could blame Alford if he's legitimately looking at other options, which he better be. But I mean, there's so many legalese behind it. There's so many legal barriers with the grant of rights. I don't know how easily it could get done. But yes, Florida State is poachable, and they need to make sure. They just need to make sure that people. I don't know that there's a tender for colleges, for athletic programs, for football programs. But if there was, Florida State needs to be on it with a nice pick. I'm talking about a nice pick, like in a bar with friends, so it looks like you have friends. You're not some lonely dude just posing in front of a mirror. You don't even have a friend that can take a picture of you. You have to take a picture of yourself in the mirror. That's how lonely a guy you are. Florida State ain't that.
No. All right, Gator188 says, what's the one thing you would like to do before the beginning of fall camp?
Get my gallbladder taken out. And it's happening, Gator Kirk. It's happening in 2.5 weeks, my man. In Chicago, I got the trip in with Brady and Stephanie, so I got to cram that in before the gallbladder surgery.
Yeah, I would like to take a trip, but I don't know if I will. It's my fault. I should have just done something, pulled the trigger, but I didn't, and now I'm just going to probably – it's like 2 years in a row of just kind of grinding, which is not good for your boys' mentals. I'll be all right, though. XCQ004, wake up.
You like Tallahassee in the summer, though.
Yeah. Touche. I walked right into that one. All right. Derek is excited about the new schedule format. Question. If the playoff existed during the dynasty years, how many times do you think FSU would have played Miami in the national championship? How many would we have won? He postulates that the system would have set it up for us to play them at least 8 times in 14 years. He thinks we would have won 6 against them and another 2 on top of that. So he thinks that Florida State would have won 8 titles in the dynasty over the 14 years. What say you? For the record, they would have probably got us in 88 and 91.
I looked that up. Like, I think because we all know they finished top 4. Florida State did. They finished top 4 for 14 years in a row. And obviously, if you're in the top 4, you're in the playoff. But they weren't always in the top 4 when the playoffs began. It's just They always won their bowl games, and they would leap over someone. So I think it was like 10 out of 14 or 11 out of 14 they would have been in the playoff. I think 87 and 92 would be the 2 that I think for sure they would have played in the playoff again. 91, I guess, too, honestly. Well, no, they lost to Florida. So maybe they don't lose to Florida if there's a playoff. They probably wouldn't have. That was the year they played Miami and Florida to end the season, which is still an absolute train wreck of a schedule maker. But yeah, so I would say 87 and 92 are the 2. 92 specifically is the one I'm most confident about. If they'd have played Miami again for a national championship, they would have beaten them. Because when they played them the first time, they weren't doing the Charlie Ward, it's just better than everyone, let's put them in the shotgun and let them go win games for them. They weren't doing that. So they lost, they lost on another field goal, 19-16. But after they finally figured out to put Charlie in the shotgun, I think they beat that Miami team by 2 or 3 touchdowns. I think they'd have beaten them like Alabama beat them, honestly. So yeah, I don't know. I can't. That's too much to think about how many times they would have played.
That sounds about right, though. I mean, if you said it's 11, if Florida State was at least in the top 4 going into championship weekend, which at that time I think was only the SEC really had it, yeah, we probably would have been 8 times. Both teams would have been in the playoff. Now, how many times are we going to play each other in the playoff? And I mean, we can't get through all that. That's a lot of back and forth. But yeah, in those years, if they would have rematched, yeah, I like our odds in 87. I like our odds in 92. I mean, obviously 93, 94, 90. I mean, yeah, like in the 90s outside of 91, I would take Florida State. And it wouldn't be that much of a stretch to even take Florida State in 91. But
no, not at all. I think Florida State was a better team than that Miami team. They just, they kind of gagged there in the fourth quarter of that game. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
But 89, they'd probably get us, though. Like, if we play them again in 89, they'd probably get us,
agreed.
Right?
Because they didn't have their starting quarterback. They had to play Toretto, who was a redshirt freshman maybe, but he's the backup quarterback because Erickson was hurt. Yeah, I think they probably lose that game. Maybe you beat them in 90 because you made Casey Weldon the quarterback. So maybe you play them again later on in the year and you beat them then. But, yeah, I mean, I think I would guess it would have been half and half. But also, any time Florida State and Miami were both really good, Miami found a way to win most of them. I mean, maybe that changes if they're in the playoff age because there's not so much pressure in that regular season game. But yeah, I mean, it's just hard to know. It's hard to know, but they were great games. Too bad Miami hasn't been good in a long time.
Bry Guy is one. Can we talk about the brutality of FSU's 2026 football schedule that now includes these games at Alabama, Notre Dame, Florida, at Miami, Clemson? Will there be a harder schedule that year? Probably not. But hopefully it won't happen, though. Hopefully it won't happen.
Right. You're going to replace those teams with Michigan State, Minnesota. You got a roadie at Iowa.
Purdue.
You get to play. What's his name will still be there, right? The Iowa coach. He's not leaving.
Yeah, Kirk Ferentz. Yeah, he's dying.
Yeah, he'll be there forever. So yeah, you're going to be playing Iowa and Purdue instead of Notre Dame and Miami and Clemson. Yeah. But yeah, that's a tough one. That's they got to get out of the Alabama game. And look, man, I don't trust any of these games that are 4, 5, 6 years down the road because we have no idea what college football is going to look like in 2024. Much less 2026 or 2027. So there's a decent chance that that Alabama game doesn't ever get played.
Well said. Thanks for the question, Bry Guy is one. On to Miss Webb Silver Chief. She was actually at the Link Jarrett press conference, so shout out to her. She's a big-time Noles fan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, as on Corey, had fun hearing my question on the show last week, so I'm back. My question, I saw on social media, Coach Storms had a really cool workout, team bonding exercise before they left for the 4th of July break. Apparently the guys really loved it. It was ultra competitive. There was like hurdles and races and a tug of war event. Sounds like a field day. What's the best team bonding experience in your opinion that you guys have seen over the years? Also, what's each of your guys' favorite Warchant team bonding activity? I love our Christmas party, the White Elephant Party that Gene and his wife Stacy throw every year for us. That's always a blast. I don't know what the best team bonding thing that Florida State has done together. I did like how – I'm not a man of the cloth, everybody. I'm not a pious man. I'm a very flawed man. But I did like how Bobby, obviously God was a big part of his life in Christianity. But I like the fact that he would take the team to both, like a predominantly African-American parish or, church, I guess. And then he would take them to one that might be more traditionally, white. So I guess, give them both, make everybody kind of feel as comfortable as you possibly can. Now, I don't know how much bonding happened in that, but, I mean, I'm sure for the people that were godly, they appreciate those, sort of outings. And, hey, listen, man, we did really well in those days, so maybe we need more God in our lives in Florida State. So I don't know, but that's all I got for team bonding. I like the Marine thing, but that was softball? Like Lonnie would do the thing? Because I guess apparently Willie tried, but maybe not everybody showed up. We never had a full answer on that. Corey saved me.
I was going to say they really, in Jimbo's time, they really seemed to bond around BB guns. Just rolling around campus shooting at things. That seemed to work. I do remember, I don't have an answer for that, but because there's been so many of them, and they just kind of all get lost in the brain. But I can still remember the score of the 90-91 Miami game, 92 Miami game. I will say that before the Clemson game, the last time Florida State, 13. So the second to last time they ever beat them, up for the 51-13-14 game. Yeah. Jimbo showed them. What was the name of the movie? I think it was Lone Survivor.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. It wasn't just the movie. But it was Peter Berg, the director, talked to the team. I'm almost sure Peter Berg talked to the team. He showed it because it was an advanced screening, and I think Peter Berg talked to the team or taped a message for the team or something like that. And I thought that was really cool. That it wasn't just, hey, go watch this movie for 2 hours, but maybe it wasn't. I think it was Lone Survivor, though. Was that the Mark Wahlberg movie?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Okay, well, if that came out in 13, then that was the one. It was one of those, patriotic type movies that came out around then. But yeah, they watched a movie like that. I think it was that movie, and then Peter Berg, the director, talked to him about it and the making of, and the real guy, who I can't remember the name because I've read that book, and it's bothering me now that I can't remember the guy's name, but I can't. Wasn't he? Is it Luttrell? Didn't he end up getting shot?
No, that's the guy from the Sniper movie that Bradley Cooper was in. Chris something. Okay. I forget his name. I'm sorry.
Luttrell. I thought maybe
Marcus,
that was Luttrell.
Marcus Luttrell. Yeah, that was played by Mark Wahlberg. Okay. The movie is Lone Survivor. It was released Christmas 2013, directed by Peter Berg.
So they got it. So there you go. So they got a sneak preview because that game, the Clemson game, was played in October. So they got a sneak preview of the movie. So there you go. There's your team building. I came up with one.
Chris Kyle was the basis of the movie American Sniper. So we're figuring it out on the fly, everybody. All right. Thank you for the question. Keep up the great work, she says. Heather, a.k.a. Miss Webb Silver Chief. All right, let's go to Primetime 92. What's up, guys? Before I get to his questions, brief story. He says he's met each one of us individually. He met me in a bathroom at Liberty, which sounds familiar. I remember somebody at Liberty telling me they liked the show. But usually when I'm there, it's probably because Mercedes Mike is in town and I'm tying one on, so it's probably a mess. He said he met Corey as me and my girlfriend were walking into Doak for the Boise game in that hot weather. After we got done talking, my girlfriend thought Corey had a lazy eye. Not sure what she saw, but I always crack up when I remember her saying that.
Oh, I'm just lazy in general, but my eyes work normal.
Stop it. Okay, what's up, guys? All right, first question. What is a food you are confident you could out-eat most people on? It's not a singular food. Go ahead. All right, roll with it, buddy.
You go first. You started. You go first.
It's not a singular food, but I can throw down brunch. Like, give me eggs, toast, French toast, waffles, hash browns. I can fit a lot. I could put down a lot of brunch in a little amount of time. I'd be a good competitive eater in that. So, yeah, I throw that stuff down strong.
All right, well, that's so general. That's so many. That's also like lunch. You can go with a sandwich and prime rib and all that stuff too.
Oh, no, it's breakfast foods though. Breakfast foods I can put down just like strong. To very strong.
Okay, my answer, it came immediately to mind. Sausage balls.
Okay.
I could eat because my sister makes them and we have them at Thanksgiving. I could probably eat, I don't know, 50 in the course of an hour and a half.
Woo.
Like just if they're in front of me, I eat them like popcorn. It's not something I'm bragging about. I'm not real fired up about it. It's actually going to be, now that I've tried to cut a little bit of red meat out of my diet and just stuff that isn't great for me, it's going to be tough around Thanksgiving to not pop a lot of sausage balls in my mouth. Sausage balls.
What's your best go-to meal that you cook yourself? For me, filet mignon. I can now that I cook it on a stovetop and then put it in the oven to finish it off. I'm a master. Good little bark, little char on the outside, medium on the inside. Right. Asparagus, twice baked potato. Yeah, that's what Salon throws down, y'all.
I don't know, man. I don't cook for myself ever. I used to cook fried eggs and omelets, and I was pretty good at that. So I'll say that. Peanut butter and jelly. I'm pretty good at peanut butter and jelly, I'll be honest. It's a pretty good amount of both. Brady's pretty lucky, honestly, now that I think about it.
Okay, C-Swizzle8, wake up. Love everything you guys do, especially your effort in providing content during these slow months. Aslan, after listening and watching the interview with Jeff Culhane, the new voice of Florida State football and basketball, got me thinking, does Warchant have a name chart with phonetic pronunciation for staff members like FSU does for their roster? Seems like he could use one for your name. I kid, go Noles. Yeah, he might have, I don't even pay attention unless you really, really butcher my name. I don't even pay. I'm just like, all right, close enough. We'll keep going. So I don't know. It's I don't take any umbrage with it. Welcome to Tallahassee, Jeff. Thank you for the question, C-Swizzle. 4 more. Let's do this, Corey.
That was a good interview, by the way. I hope people listened to it or watched it. That was fun, getting to know the guy a little bit.
Yeah, good dude. Let's go to Hawaii. It's Ralph, Spartan Knowles 71. Aloha, guys. How's it? Wednesday, Jeff Cameron Show. Link Jarrett said one of the things he believes in is community impact. My question is simple. Do you think NIL has now put a price on stuff like this? Or do you think athletic departments will still have this as a goodwill and player personnel development tool? Thanks for your time. Mahalo, Ura. Yeah, I see a lot of what, Rising Spear is doing is having these kids go out into the community and help and give back, which is awesome. But it's, I don't know. I mean, I don't mind that if they're getting paid to do it. I guess, some people might want it to come straight from the heart, but I think the more important thing is just being there, being available. But yeah, we would see this all the time, right? Like kids going to elementary schools, like on Dr. Seuss Day or whatever. And I guess it makes you feel good about as a fan. You see these kids doing these things in their spare time and giving back to the children, if you will. But yeah, I don't know where this figures into their mix of developing these kids holistically, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it, man. I'd rather them, I guess, do that than get money for, I don't know. I don't want to get too lost in this, Corey. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I get what he's saying because, yeah, I think it's now going to be, there can be not an emphasis, but there can be an attitude of, well, what am I getting for this? It's not kind of out of the goodness of your heart anymore or dedicating your time to it. It's just like, okay, well, you get paid a certain amount to go make these visits. But you're also right that a visit is a visit, and the kids don't know. Yeah. Whoever you're helping doesn't know. So that to me is the most important thing. But yeah, I think it does. It doesn't make it maybe as generous of spirit as it used to be, but it's just the world we're living in. Everyone, just the world we're living in.
Eric from Cincinnati, now in Tallahassee. Wake up, guys. He feels FSU finally has the guy to take us to Omaha and win the College World Series. But he reminds us that, once July hits, we're only a month away from Florida State football. He can't wait to party in the Big Easy. He's ordering his tickets next Friday. It's going to be an exciting year. He says 9-3. Happy 4th of July to the Warchant crew and the Pillars. Eric from Tallahassee. Indeed.
Thanks, Eric. We appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks,
we appreciate it.
Dane_Owen, quick baseball side note after he says, "What up, dudes? What up, Dane?" We all clearly and emphatically have fallen in love with Link Jarrett, rightfully so. Can't think of a better coach. I'm from Nashville, spoken to Coach Corbin. Whoa, careful, Corey. Follow the law.
I know. Hey, man, I've been rerouted off I-65 because of an accident and still trying to get around it.
Yeah. He's from Nashville. I've spoken to Coach Tim Corbin from Vanderbilt a few times, and listening to Link reminds me of him a lot. Intense, passionate, and a head full of baseball all day, every day. Let's hope for a very noticeable difference in our play in the next 2-ish years, tops. Yeah, you're on the clock, Link. Let's go. Yeah, I'll do that.
2 years. 2 years.
Yeah. All right, football. Who has more combined yards at the end of the season? Trey Benson and Johnny Wilson, or Micah Pittman and Trayshawn Ward? Ooh, yeah, Pittman and Trayshawn Ward.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. It's a good question, though.
It is.
If it's close, like in a good way, then Florida State's going to have a nice year. Like, not if they're both around 400 combined, but if they're both around, 1,100 combined or 1,400 combined, that's a really good year.
Yeah, I think maybe for me it would have been a harder question if it was Trayshawn and Johnny Wilson, Trey and Micah, like the Oregon guys versus the non-Oregon guys. I'm a big believer in Micah Pittman, so.
I know you are.
Also, hope you had a blast in I hope you had a blast in Chicago, Corey. The girlfriend and I are doing a trip up the East Coast in the spring, probably starting around the Outer Banks, going all the way to Canada. You're welcome to come. We are driving, of course. LOL. You guys are the best. Thanks.
Yeah, well,
go Noles. Go ahead. Sorry.
Brady watches that show on Netflix now, Outer Banks. I don't know if that's appropriate or not. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, I think he's high school now. I guess he's allowed to watch whatever. I need to go ahead and show him Pulp Fiction and Deliverance. He's in high school now, right? I've waited long enough.
Silence of the Lambs, which I actually went and saw opening night, which is just how is that, Mom? Why? Why'd you do that?
I saw it too, but you were younger than me. I think I was like 14 or 15 when it came out. You must have been 11.
Bro,
That's a tough one.
I retreated to my parents' bedroom that night, for sure.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one to see as an elementary or middle school kid.
Yeah. All right, let's go on this one.
Look,
Sorry.
he how many times did he have to tell her to put the lotion in the basket, man? I mean, at some point you're going to lose your mind. I mean, you got to listen. Am I right, gang? Anyone?
Put the lotion in the basket. All right, last one, good one. Tennis ump. Wake up, guys. Serious momentum going on in so many facets of Florida State University athletics that it is very exciting. I would just like you guys to quickly comment on the overall upward spiral that is happening in all sports, as well as the overall change in football from Mike's first year until now. Thank you, and support all the sponsors and Drink to Luna as I did this morning. Dave, a.k.a. Tennis Ump. The floor is yours, Corey. Great time to be a Nole.
Oh, I was going to say the same thing to you, buddy. I wanted to hear you expound on it a little bit.
I'll let you go last. Yeah, man, Link Jarrett, that's awesome. That's a big-time hire. That was the best hire. They went and made it happen. They opened up the purse strings, the wallet, whatever you want to say, which I liked what Ira said earlier in the week on the show about basically, and it really ties in well now, I think, Corey, with the whole Big Ten, Pac-12 stuff going on where, all right, you survived COVID, so now you might kind of come crawling out of your hole and be like, all right, maybe the coast is clear, we can start spending some money. But Florida State is being very assertive, like going and hiring Link, tying up Lonnie on this long-term contract. Like they're showing, and Ira's point was basically this is the time. This is an audition right now. Like everything you're doing for Michael Alford is pretty much an audition and a call out to anybody else out there, whether it's Kevin Warren for the SEC, whether it's Greg Sankin, Kevin Warren, the Big Ten, and Greg Sankin, the SEC. Like, hey man, we are committed to athletics. We are committed to the sports that matter. We are all in all the time. Bring us aboard. We'll make you guys better. So it's awesome to see that. Having Lonnie locked up is great. I'll check in with Mike's the overall change. Yeah, man, this roster seems to be much better than it was in 2020. The tools that were available to him were not available to his predecessor, but he's taken advantage of it. Beat Clemson, Florida, and Miami. Beat 2 out of those 3. We'll feel really good. I'll feel really good. But yeah, man, Ham's got it going on here. Baba Miller and then the Taylor Bone kid. So his obituary was too early drafted by some. So, yeah, man, it's good. I trust in Michael Alford right now.
Yeah, it's been a strong, 2 months, 8 weeks? I can't remember the timing of the Lonnie extension, maybe month. But yeah, man, I think, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer here, but get back to us in September. Because so much of what just you feel about an athletic program, especially at Florida State, rides on the football team. And it is awesome that they brought in Link. I think people are really excited about that. And it's awesome that Lonnie hopefully finishes her career at Florida State. I think people are very excited about that. And that Leonard's getting good recruits again. And should have a pretty good team this year. But, man, if football continues to be mediocre, that people aren't going to be that excited about Link and that excited about Lonnie. Like, you got to really feel good as a fan of Florida State University, the football team has to get better, right? I mean, I think that we all know that. We all agree with that. But, yes, it has been a really good 6 weeks. Let's hope it carries over into September and October.
Well said. We did it. We made it through here with only a couple drop-offs.
Sorry, everyone. No. Sorry, I'm on the phone, everyone. We tried our best. But at least you got to hear my voice one way or the other.
You're on vacation, Corey. Like, you're on vacation. You're doing a show. No apologies.
Thanks, Aslan. I appreciate that.
I'm going to go home to Tampa for the 4th of July, so I'm not going to do a show. We won't have a Monday show. It's the 4th of July, everybody. Cut us some slack.
Right.
But we will have plenty of content going on over at warchant.com. I think as you are listening to this, it might be up, if not soon thereafter. Picks 11 through 15 of the top 40. We'll probably be dabbling in the top 10 next week. Corey and I will be back doing some shows next week. I'm sure we need to probably do a live show. It's been a while since we've done one of those.
Correct.
We'll talk about the top 10, our picks. Maybe we'll have some more answers in terms of what's going on with all this conference realignment. And then, I don't know, like 3 weeks from now, Charlotte, ACC kickoff. That's going to be really fun now. So we ain't going nowhere. We'll be here. And then, obviously, Jeff Cameron show, 1 to 3 o'clock. Headlines next week. Warchant, can't stop, won't stop. Corey, thanks for doing this, man. You're the best. Tell Stephanie and Brady we said hello as well.
Hey, everyone. Aslan and the Wake Up Warchant gang said hello to both of you.
What's up, gang?
There you go. She said, I think Brady might be asleep.
What up?
No, he's not. All right, there you go. There you go, everyone. You got to hear from him.
Solid. For Corey, I'm Aslan. Thank you for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.